That is right. It was exactly 1 year ago when the House of Representatives officially impeached President Donald J. Trump for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The historic motion made President Trump the third sitting U.S. president to ever be impeached. Of course, we all remember how the rest of it played out, with the Senate voting to acquit the president on both charges a month and a half later. What a year it's been.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose, so you can enjoy it even if you're sensitive. Yet some people say lactate isn't real. I guess all those cows must actually be big dogs. Sit. I said sit.
Alright guys, good morning. So today we are looking at Neo, Wish, and J Maya. And DKAG in the back burner. So let's jump right in it first real quick. So with about 14 minutes of the bell, Neo still has a lot of room to grow. So I like a lot. So I think it's maybe has its cooling off time is over, and I think it's going to keep going higher and higher every day. So if I take a look at the 5-minute, it has been getting higher and higher every day. So the next level of resistance for Neo is 47.24, being that that's where it kept bouncing up and trying to break over. It broke over with a little bit. It broke over by a little bit and then came back down, and then it tapped it a few more times. So it's about $2 away, more or less, about $1.80 run there from there.
Is always part of the plan. Introducing touch-free payments from PayPal. The safe way for your customers to pay.
And then if we take a look at, so right now it's trading currently right above the very first resistance of yesterday's open. Pretty much the high of the day, until it closed higher than that yesterday. And then we did drop some after hours. We went up and then dropped some, and then pre-market we dropped some more. So we're literally at this area here from yesterday. Yesterday that happened where Neo was trading at that level, at the resistance level. It spiked up. I made money off it, right? I made money off it in the very beginning. So we have two levels. So we have the resistance here, and this very first resistance, being that it couldn't pop that over after trying like 2 or 3 times. And then we have 44.79. So this is definitely going to keep going.
It's the only thing that's ever worked for me. Now I don't sweat. Get your total body.
So I say today I said yesterday it would reach 46.
It smells good. Comes in these convenient little packs. It's made my life so much simpler. This dog.
I said 45. It could definitely probably go back to 45, maybe 46, and it actually did that. So I think Neil has room to grow. I want to keep riding this train. I want to keep making. So we're gonna, we're gonna do a 50 cents pop with these 55 cents. I don't know. I might go a little bit. No, you know what? It being Friday, and sometimes these markets on Friday, man, they're tough. And I don't want to hold something that can possibly drop, because we don't know what these stocks can do. If you hold them, it's not going to drop hard, but I think it will drop. Okay, so we have Neo. So I like Neo where it's at right now on the deviation lines. Has room to grow because $47 is way up here, and I don't think it'll get to that. I do think that this can reach today that 46.47. I do think it can reach that part right there for sure. And then surpass that. Yeah, I think it'll surpass that.
So lawmakers could potentially vote on an agreement they say they are close to, that does not publicly exist yet, before this weekend is up, to get relief out to people before so many of these programs that they're trying to extend expire right after Christmas. Deadline after deadline blown, Stephanie. But we're running out of deadlines to blow here is the bottom line, which is why I think this will ultimately get done. It's just a question of when.
So we do want to be careful. We don't want to get caught in a trap like we did last time. We had to wait for it to pop back up. We were still a ways from our stop loss, so we did hold on because we know these stocks sometimes need room to grow. These specific stocks. We're not trading momos. So knowing that, so we can see here it's oversold or overbought on the stochastic slow on the STO, and then it's close to overbought on the RSI. It's above the 50, and that's fine. But for a pop, NEO's never really. There we go. There's NEO, so it's not overbought. So NEO has never really been one to stay overbought for quite some time. Like it'll go up here for like 2-3 minutes, maybe come back down, and then go back up to it if it's a good day for NEO. So I want this to drop a little more. It might just pop up at the bell. It may just come down. I'm hoping it did what it did yesterday, where it came down. We can ride that wave going up. Seeing that the next level of resistance is 46.44, having being real close to that. About 50 cents more or less away from that. So more or less what we want for today. We can actually, you know what? We can actually just do that. No, we'll do the 55. We'll stay with the 55.
Obviously, delay this anymore is, as you pointed out, completely and totally absurd.
But nothing in this thing is extraordinary. Why on earth did it take
so this being right here, the level of resistance, 45.55. That is the level of resistance from the high when it opened yesterday, and that's where it's at right now. So it's between this and this, right? Say if it does drop, maybe in between 44.79, 45.50, anywhere between this area here, right? So we'll see what happens. Now let's talk about Wish. Wish being a new IPO. So this thing, what it did. When it opened, it sold off when it opened, and then yesterday it sold off to like $19, and then it went up to $23.90 yesterday, and now it's still trading around that level. So if you can see here, if you see in this chart, so 23.89 being the high, being the resistance, the absolute high of what this stock has made so far is that. These levels, this level here, 23.09, is the resistance that it kept having a hard time breaking after this pop that it had, and it just declined after that. So this being the level of resistance where it's currently at from yesterday. So you know this is a good sign. It's also close to where we want it to be at. And then this is the level of resistance, 22.63. So, and then down here being the low of what we can expect for it to go. So I do like where Wish is at right now. I just might pop up Wish before NEO. Because I do like where it's at right now. It's actually closer. So I'm going to keep Wish here on this screen. I'm going to put NEO on this one. So we'll see. You know what? I gotta talk about Jmaya real quick. So Jmaya also did fly high yesterday, and then it sold off, and then it kept selling off. But they got some decent news, I guess. Motley Fool is Jmaya stock and extremely undervalued. So the article wasn't bad talking Jmaya. It actually said, Jmaya does have the ability to keep going high. with some moves that it needs to do. So, I know we can see Jeremiah selling off a little bit more after it already reached all-time high yesterday. Or close to it. So, and then DraftKings is way high. So, DraftKings, I do like it, but I want to show you real quick. So, the next level of resistance for DraftKings, you have to look at this on the 180. Okay, so as you can see, so from here, it's already past this level of resistance that I was having a hard time breaking, right? So the next level of resistance would be where it's currently at right now, going back 2 months, right? The next level after that is 59.21. So, is it going to make a new level of resistance right here in between, or is it going to go to 59.21? So I don't know. We'll see. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be on the back burner.
That's the only way we're going to get it done.
Amen to that. Congressman Reed.
So I do like DraftKings. I do think that DraftKings is going to continue to go. There is recent news on DraftKings. I believe there was something else I was looking at. So, DraftKings is DraftKings. It's one of the biggest sports betting, companies out there, making big waves. Big waves. So, I own this long term. So, I'm a very firm believer on this. But day trading it today, it might be a little risky. Since it didn't lose that much momentum from yesterday. Actually went hot, close to the high of yesterday. It's pretty much where it's at.
And for small businesses that are going to need the Paycheck Protection Program relief, now that $600.
So we're gonna look at Wish over here.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this morning, and thank you for working so hard on this. I appreciate it.
I might just repivot.
Coming up next, I cannot believe it. It's 9:27, and I haven't even brought this up yet. And you know who else hasn't? The president. President Trump is still silent about the massive Russian hack.
So what do we know of Wish? I know Wish can move 55 cents on the first initial pops of what we're looking for. Right? So we know real quick, if we'll zoom in real quick before the bell rings, we got about a minute. So as you can see, right, if you were to get in using the Strad, you would have got in right here at this point. So let's just say midway, 21.52. 22.20. Even down here. You know what I'm saying? So 21.50. Right. So I do like where it's at. Let's put this back here. Alright. So Neo also is not in bad territory. Neo is actually trading at the average, which is not bad, to be honest with you. It's actually decent area.
Concrete is fundamental to every structure. To build a house, you need a strong foundation. The same is true for building a business.
Jeremiah, they're all trading around the same area, to be honest with you. Which being the lowest of them right now.
I'm Kimberly Rose, and I'm the owner and founder of Roleplace Concrete Design.
The City Foundation is helping our community partners facilitate more loans to Black-owned businesses.
Time to start brushing with Parodontax toothpaste? If your gums bleed when you brush, the answer is yes. The clock may be ticking towards worse. Parodontax is 3 times more effective at removing plaque, the main cause of bleeding gums. Parodontax.
Before we talk about tax-smart investing, what's new? Audrey's expecting.
Twins.
Maybe close for the twins.
Changing plans.
At Fidelity, a change in plans is always part of the plan.
Yeah, I got a new one when I switched over to Spectrum Mobile. They're faster overall and more reliable.
They all say that. It's just jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber?
Yeah, balderdash.
Hooey.
What? Did he sense any flap doodle? What is flap doodle?
I think it's like hemming and hawing.
With a little bit of hogwash. No, they're just faster and more reliable.
Okie dokie. No fun plan.
Spectrum Mobile gives you the fastest overall speeds and the most reliable service coast to coast. It's a better way to mobile. Spectrum Mobile.
Certain dealerships will win awards, won one or two. We have won 4.
Those are from the manufacturer. We think they're important, but our best compliment comes from our customers. I don't think a customer thinks about those awards at all.
I think customers feel it.
When you have employees that are genuinely happy with the place they work and the culture that we have, it's really...
So Neil doesn't know what it wants to do yet. Looks like it's going to keep going up. It just might. Neil's already at overbought. Wish is at overbought. And Jemaya looks like it might be stair-stepping down.
To help navigate diabetes better.
I'm going to hold off a little bit.
I love it. I just wear a little sensor and that's it. It's totally painless and private.
The Dexcom sends my glucose readings to my receiver every 5 minutes. I just pull it out of my pocket and look, and I don't have to prick my finger.
Dexcom puts you in control, not your diabetes.
Turn up the volume for this. We are learning new concerning details this morning about a massive cyber attack believed to be linked to Russia. The Department of Energy that oversees our nuclear stockpile now says it was part of the hack, along with the Departments of Defense, State, Homeland Security, Treasury, and Commerce. Basically everything that controls the United States of America. The hack dates back to March, and officials are still trying to determine how big the scope. As Axios puts it this morning, it's like someone has been walking in and out of your house for months, and you have no idea what they actually took. The president has still said absolutely nothing about this attack, which has some lawmakers fired up.
What I find most astonishing is that a cyber hack of this nature is really the modern equivalent of almost of Russian bombers reportedly flying undetected over the entire country. And in this setting, not to have the White House aggressively speaking out and protesting and taking punitive action is really quite extraordinary.
Joining us now to discuss a man who knows this White House well, Washington Post White House Bureau Chief Phil Rucker. Phil, President-elect Biden came out with a strong statement, but right now he doesn't have the power to do anything. What are you hearing from your sources inside the White House? President Trump has said nothing.
You know, Steph, we're hearing virtually nothing from White House officials about this hack, and certainly not from the president. It's interesting because it is incredible in breadth and scope, and obviously alarming, as Senator Romney was just articulating in that radio interview, and yet the president is focused almost entirely on a different kind of hack, what he claims to be the hack of the election here in the United States.
So seeing that this is the current level of resistance,
time, and he is frankly does not appear to be tuned in.
It might just sell it there if it pops back up. I got in a little high, wanted to ride that momentum wave, seeing that we still have ways to go. So I might hold on to this for a little bit.
To the presidential level in terms of Trump's public communications, and he's not issued any kind of warning.
This hack is not in the past tense. The robbers are still in the house at this very moment.
Yeah.
And the president is saying nothing. That comment we just played a moment ago was Republican Mitt Romney.
Yeah, and he has said nothing publicly to threaten Russia or to condemn Putin or to use the power of the United States, our economic power, our diplomatic power, our military power, to threaten Russia to back off and stop this. We've not heard that from the president. And it speaks to, Steph, as you know, a 4-year pattern for Donald Trump where he's been unwilling to really directly confront Russia on incursions like this.
Can you explain how this ties in? Because President Trump still says he will veto...
So we're just looking for 55 cents pop. I did get a little high.
He is threatening this veto. It's unclear if he actually would.
But I just wanted to ride. All my lines were underneath it, so I wanted to ride this wave, knowing that it's an IPO and it could definitely pop up. So you know, I mean, I just want a 55 cents pop is what we're looking to get.
Private pressure is
it definitely can reach this 389 mark right here. So I just might put it to 2390.
Or trying to walk a line that I can't even see. Senator John Cornyn was asked about the president's lack of response, and he said, "I don't really care what he says, but I do care what he does." Okay, then I'll play ball. What's he doing?
Well, Seb, we don't know what he's doing because he's not saying what he's doing, and it actually does matter what he says because other countries are listening too. There are other threats. There are other players, adversaries around the world, not just Russia, who are looking to see how the U.S. responds to this Russian hack because they may be wanting to do a hack or some sort of other act of warfare against the United States in the future. And the risk, according to experts, has always been if the U.S. doesn't confront these directly, if the president doesn't speak out about it, it could encourage other adversaries to do the same in the months and years ahead.
Remember, the president said he inherited a poor military and he was here protecting us. A hack of this nature is not protecting us. Phil, thank you so much. And I know I'm not the first to say it. That poinsettia behind you, it's on point. Meanwhile, President-elect Biden is making headlines with his latest round of appointments, tapping Congresswoman Deb Haaland to serve as his Interior Secretary. If confirmed, she is set to become the nation's first Native American cabinet secretary. After the announcement, she tweeted this: "A voice like mine has never been a cabinet secretary or at the head of the Department of the Interior. Growing up in my mother's Pueblo household made me fierce. I'll be fierce for all of us, our planet, and all of our protected land." Pretty extraordinary. Coming up next, a lot on this show, and we are not going to stop. Our coronavirus testing system in this country, no other way to put it, it is awful. We are failing the COVID test.
2380. That's what I'm gonna change to 2380 because it's having a hard time breaking that. I don't want to hold anything overnight, man.
Has been detained, that means arrested, in Paris in connection with an investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's inner circle. Brunel is being held for questioning on suspicion of providing underage girls from his modeling agency for Epstein to sexually abuse. He faces several charges, including rape, sexual assault of a minor, and trafficking of minors. His attorney did not immediately respond to NBC's request for comment, but don't worry, we'll keep calling.
Skip to cold relief fast. With Alka-Seltzer Plus Severe Power Fast Fizz. Dissolves quickly, instantly ready to start working. Oh, what a relief it is. So fast.
Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Jen. So let me just ask you, this Aveeno moisturizer goes beyond just soothing sensitive skin?
Exactly, Jen. Common Restore O Gel was designed for sensitive skin.
Oh, it's incredible.
We formulated it with a super nurturing ingredient, prebiotic O. It soothes skin and strengthens its moisture barrier too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Aveeno, healthy. It's our nature. Oh, wait, Sabrina, there's a serum too?
Of course there is.
Of course there is. I knew that.
People everywhere living with type 2 diabetes are waking up to what's possible with Rybelsus. Rybelsus works differently than any other diabetes pill to lower blood sugar in all three of these ways. Increases insulin, decreases sugar, and slows food. The majority of people taking Rybelsus lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7. People taking Rybelsus lost up to 8 pounds. Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever have medullary thyroid cancer, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Wake up to what's possible with Rybelsus. You may pay as little as $10 per prescription. Ask your healthcare provider about Rybelsus today.
At VisionWorks, we know it's easy to forget to use your vision benefits before the year's up.
This is us making sure you don't. Use them before you lose them. Backed by our 100-day guarantee.
I was having a hard time wanting to pop.
For years and years, and nothing has really worked for me until now. With the Nurtec ODT, I have felt such relief. I am able to go about my day as if nothing happened.
Nurtec is the only quick dissolve treatment for migraine attacks that can get
So that's where we want to sell that right there.
and last up to 48 hours with just one dose. Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. The most common side effect was nausea.
For more information, go to nurtec.com.
T-Mobile is upgrading its network at a record pace. We were the first to bring 5G nationwide. And now that Sprint is a part of T-Mobile, we're turning up the speed. Upgrading over 1,000 towers a month with ultra-capacity 5G to bring speeds as fast as Wi-Fi to cities and towns across America. And we're adding more every week. Coverage and speed. Who says you can't have it all?
Have we met before?
I don't think so.
You are a liar.
Play the game.
Why would I do that?
I gotta play this smarter.
I'm not done with you. Stay and play. The Shark Vac Mop. The all-in-one disposable pad that vacuums up debris. Other pads push around.
See if you can push up for us. It has the potential to do that.
Then spray and toss. The Shark Vac Mop.
Christmas is exactly 1 week away, and public health officials are warning people to stay at home this year. But just like Thanksgiving, many are ignoring these warnings and instead turning to COVID testing in hopes of lowering the risk of gatherings for the holidays. But as we have talked about a lot on this show, our testing system in this country is terrible. So our investigative and consumer correspondent, Vicki Wynn, and a team of producers spread out across the country went to see just how hard it is to get a coronavirus test and the results.
Long lines and waits that can take hours.
I stood in line for about an hour and 20 minutes.
As millions of Americans flock to get COVID-19 tests, now a new surge in testing demand with Christmas just days away. Despite warnings not to travel,
people are going to do it regardless. And so if you do, let's be as safe as we can.
Dr. Rahul Kara, an emergency room doctor, owns urgent care clinics and testing.
You know what? I'm not going to sell it there. I'm gonna sell it a little bit higher.
Doesn't guarantee safety, but it can lessen your risk of spreading the virus.
People think if I get a negative test, it's a free pass. I can go, I can hang out, I don't have to wear a mask, I don't have to socially distance. What do you say to that?
Having a negative test, any negative test, is not a free pass. It just tells you that at that moment, they did not find any virus in your nasal pharynx or your nasal cavity. But it's important to know that as long as you are negative, please wear your mask, please socially distance.
We headed out to go get a COVID test.
So I'm gonna sell mine.
Or how long the wait will be.
NBC News producers all over the country, from California to Florida, headed out to see what it's like to get a test.
Today it is a
There.
very long line.
In New Jersey so far, it's easy at this urgent care clinic.
No appointment?
I don't know if I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna let it ride, man. Fuck it. It's a new IPO. It's a good company. I know many family members that look. This is from Wish. Family members that buy stuff off Wish. I don't buy anything off Wish, so I don't know. I'm gonna let it ride. Fuck it. I want 55 cents. I know it sounds, I may be a little greedy, but as we see Neo taking off for us as we knew it would.
Wait 3 to 4 hours to get your results, but it costs $125 out of pocket.
And I believe Neo's gonna hit. So the next mark for Neo would be $47. So I do believe Neo's gonna reach this 47 mark today. So I think Neo will reach this level today. I'm gonna put
clinic that's out of network, like the ones where we got quick results, or if you don't have insurance, you could pay
47. I think Neo will reach today.
Trade group
found that 1 in 6 out-of-network COVID tests cost in excess of $400.
And that's why it's so important to check with your health insurance provider, make sure where you're getting tested is part of your insurance network.
To avoid getting a surprise bill,
So that 23.89 is the high of yesterday. Being that this dropped hard when it IPO'd, and most IPOs tend to, some of them, after dropping so hard, start to climb back up. Airbnb is climbing back up. I believe Dash is also climbing back up. So we'll see. Right now, the NASDAQ is green.
Such important reporting.
So now that we're back in the green,
Basically,
I don't know. I'm thinking
is the same testing we had 9 months ago. And remember, it is all about information and isolation. If you think you have been exposed or if you have symptoms, we should be able to test and isolate. And if we are isolating, think about what it's like for the people who have hourly wage jobs. They simply can't afford to do it. For more on this topic, join this week's episode of my podcast, Modern Rules, where I'm joined by Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of Brown University School of Public Health. We talk about the failed testing system in this country and how much things could have been different. Our schools, our businesses, everything could have been open if we solved this. But it's not too late. Testing, tracing has got to be fixed in this country, even when we get the vaccine. Coming up next, with Congress racing to pass a relief bill finally, restaurants are still not going to get the help they need. Millions and millions of employees, millions of workers who, by the way, many of whom don't have college educations. There's not other industries dying to hire them all. I'll be speaking with one restaurant owner who has lost 6 businesses in the last year about what he needs to survive. Dave Stolman joins us next.
it's having a hard time keeping past that level. I'm just gonna go ahead and flatten it right here, man.
Go left to the right. For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis. When considering another treatment, ask about Xeljanz, a pill for adults with moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis when methotrexate has not helped enough. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain and swelling, stiffness, and help stop further joint damage, even without methotrexate. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, had flu-like symptoms, or are prone to infections. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers, and blood clots have happened. Taking a higher
That's the mark right there.
for RA may increase risk of death. Tears in the stomach or intestines and serious allergic reactions have happened. Don't let another morning go by without asking your doctor about the pill first prescribed for RA more than 7 years ago. Xeljanz.
So we went ahead and just flattened it right there. It could, and now it wants to go. Mother freaking frucker. As it reaches our fucking trigger. Look at that. It is. You know where our trigger was? Right there. Right here, 412. 2412.
Finding the right words can be tough. Finding understanding doesn't have to be.
It was a penny away. Tell me.
Millions of people on the autism spectrum. Go to autismspeaks.org.
This is an athlete, 20 reps deep, sprinting past every leak in our softest, smoothest fabric. She's confident, protected, her strength respected. Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you. Wow. Are you Buick?
Yeah, as it hits overbought, this is going to continue to go. I mean, my trigger was right there at 24.12. That's where my original trigger was. If I would have, I would have been so pissed if it didn't hit that and it starts to go back down. This was an amazing pop right here. We sold it on the exact candle that it popped on. Man, see, that's when you can go fuck. But we had reasons. We had good reasons to get rid of it. Alright. So I got in. I got in knowing that it was already at overbought. Okay. But I also got in just for a pop, knowing that this can pop for at least 50 cents. That's what my original pop was. It was like right about right here is where it was. Okay, basically that high right there. So it was easy enough to reach that right there. Super easy. Or I think it was a little higher, right?
Had 9 very successful New York City restaurants. Now,
yeah, about 10 cents higher. So
restaurateur owner Gabriel Stolman joins us
about right here. Not too far out. All right. So
good morning, Steph. Thank you for having me back on the program.
It went up for a little bit. You know, seeing that was the level of resistance that it was having a hard time breaking. So we see here it's 1, 2, 3. It fails, comes back up, gives me another opportunity. 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, you know what? On the fourth one, it's already given me a lot of opportunities to get out because of this level of resistance that it's having a hard time breaking. So we see that it popped up over it for just a little bit, right? But then nothing. I'm like, you know what? I do like where I got in. You know, all of my lines here, my 5, my 9, my 21, all of them are underneath it. So that's a good indication that it could even stay at overbought for an extra, 5 minutes, 5 minutes maybe.
To close restaurants for public health and safety. But what's important is that if you are going to close restaurants and small businesses, that you have to do so.
What's it called?
Concerns that we have.
So, I thought it was going to continue to go up, and unfortunately, it went up, but, it gave us that indication that it wasn't going to pop up over that. So, as you can see, from where we bought at to where we wanted to sell at, right? It was actually a 50 cents pop, literally 49 cents pop, 49 cents pop. You know what I'm saying? So, or 50 cents pop. That's what it is. So, so we know we can do that. So that's why we choose to play these stocks. Wish is a little bit cheaper than what the stocks that we normally look at, but going back to 2 days that it's been trading, it does have pops of 50 cents or more. So, we like that. Like, look, this went from 23.07 to 24.01. So it already went $1 from when it opened to the high. So it already went up $1 plus, right? So is it gonna do more than that today? Probably. It'll probably do another 25 cents. So I believe that this stock it's already past yesterday's high of 23.89, right? So we have a new high right here, 24.11. So I do believe that this stock will definitely reach, I would say, since it's above the 50 trend line, it might stay there. I say it'll probably hit right here, 24.36. This is where I think it's going to go today.
Nobody's helping us with these solutions, so everybody's kind of on their
So we made $8 on that. We got out of it not too early because we let it ride for a little bit, but it's Friday. I like to hold on to anything Friday, and also seeing that the market is starting to go red.
Average monthly payroll. Okay. Well, the first big problem with that is
my
expenses. Payroll's only about 40% of our expenses. What about the other 60%?
My watch list is mixed, a little more red than green on this, man. On the lower watch list, on the dollar movers or more.
Financial
You know,
has been inadequate. And something that you pointed out that's so unbelievably important, and my colleagues in Roar have crunched the numbers on, is we are carving out $17 billion for the airline industry to bring back 50,000 jobs.
Okay, so again, you know what? Let me get rid of all these lines, and then we can go ahead and explain why I got in where I got in a little bit more. All right, I can always go and make these lines. I'll keep that green one and that pink one where I got in.
Somebody needs to share in the pain. The solution is the banks need to take a hit. Right? We look at the way other countries are solving this problem. You look at Canada and my friends that own restaurants in Montreal.
Okay.
Every time they get shut down, the rules in Montreal are
so we take a look back of where I got in, right? That's where I got in actually on the next candle. Okay. So
everybody shares in the problem solving in that solution.
Our lines were 100% underneath it. It was at overbought already, okay? And then I decide to ride the momentum because it can definitely go 50 cents because it did that exact same thing yesterday. And it actually did, it just took a little bit longer. So I was going to ride this momentum up, being that I got in right there on the top of the candle. So basically, if this would have gotten up, I would have got in basically at the very almost the bottom of that candle and ride that momentum up. So as I get in, it drops momentarily, comes back up, seeing that that's the level of resistance that it's having a hard time breaking. I'm like, you know what? It has room to pop. You know, being that we're very close to this, I might have just said the 23.89, but I wanted 55 cents, and it did reach it. Just took a little bit longer. So I got in because all my lines were underneath here: the pink, the blue, and the yellow. Being the yellow and the blue down, the dark blue down here, and the light and the pink here. So normally that happens. It does catapult up, knowing that it was already on overbought, but knowing that stocks can tend to live in that overbought area for 3 to 5 minutes. So 3 to 5 minutes is easy. This can reach from this point to where we wanted to sell at, which was right here at the very line. Okay, was very reachable. That's why I went in, even though it was over here. So I'm like, okay, so it's already been on overbought for 2 minutes. So, we can maybe ride it for another 2. It did go back to overbought right over here. So it was already a little bit high. But I just wanted to ride that pop, get that pop. It didn't pop up for us right at the moment. So,
let me guess, change in plans? At Fidelity, a change in plans is always part of the plan. Humira patients, this one's for you.
Right, so the lines I had from yesterday, so we'll do them again. So that being the high from yesterday, right, the resistance, and then this being the next level of resistance, this being the level of support before it broke down, and this being the level of support being where it bounced off of. Okay, so 21.84, 22.64, 23.13. So where this was at before it opened was at resistance from the highest resistance before the high. So it's already trading there. So let me see here. All right. So you see it's already in between support and resistance. So like NEO, if it's already trading higher and it's going to keep going higher, it'll be close to resistance and support. And maybe it'll drop down here halfway. It won't even touch this level here of resistance or support. And then maybe bounce real nice, like at least 80 cents or so. And knowing that that's what it did yesterday also. So yesterday what it did was it was in between support and resistance from the previous day, and it just catapulted up. It went $3 up, man, from that point. So that's what I was gauging on. So everything told me that this could pop up. All my lines were underneath it. It did open right at resistance from yesterday's high resistance, seeing that it can definitely pop up back to 23.89, being that it's a new IPO, it's a decent company, it's like a thrift store, e-commerce store. So, and it did have some recent news that came out twice, one at 4 in the morning and one at 6:06 in the morning. So, you know, both good stuff. So, you know, I think Wish is definitely a stock that I would consider holding. Not right now though. Even though it's low, it is low, but you know, it can end up being like a highly on where it goes from like 54 to like 16, 15 bucks, which is horrible. So yeah, so you know, I mean, as you learn a strategy when you start trading, you know, and it's an effective one, you've done everything, tested it out, you know, your paper trading, all that good stuff, and then you know you start looking at how to improve it, you know. So and you start just paying attention to everything, like are patterns important, and what's the swing trade, you know, like what's the best time frame, you know. I mean, so many different things that you'll start to catch on and you start noticing, like, you know, should you use level 2, should you keep the tape on. Honestly, level 2 does help. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does give you like a real support, live support and resistance, you know. Like right now the bid is winning the battle, you know what I'm saying? So because it's cheap, so people are buying it up right now.
We likely will see shots in the arm by the very early part of next week.
Yeah, so you know, you start learning things as you go. You know, being support and resistance is an extreme important tool to have in your toolbox. You start learning that, and you start learning channels, you know.
That midnight deadline, boy, it's coming up quick as leaders are trying to hammer out the last-minute details to give millions of Americans a financial lifeline. The options ahead of them as we speak to one of the top Democrats in the House. Congressman James Clyburn is joining us for more on when we could see a deal. Good morning, I'm Hallie Jackson in Washington on this Friday morning, along with our NBC team, Carol Lee at the White House, Tom Costello here in Washington, Shaquille Brewster is outside of Memphis, in Olive Branch, Mississippi, at a distribution center where they are waiting for that green light to ship the Moderna vaccine. Shaq, I'll get to you in a second, but Carol, let me start with you and what we saw at the White House this morning. This campaign to try to instill confidence in the COVID vaccine, as we're learning more about other high-profile politicos who will be getting the shot in the coming days as well.
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. The vice president becoming, as you said, the highest ranking U.S. official to receive the vaccine, calling it a medical miracle and saying that this is something that's safe and effective. At the same time, trying to ease any concerns that Americans have about taking this vaccine, given how quickly the vaccine was developed. Take a listen to what he has to say.
Karen and I wanted to step forward and take this vaccine to assure the American people that while we cut red tape, we cut no corners. American people can be confident. We have one, and perhaps within hours, two, safe and effective coronavirus vaccines for you and for your family.
And in addition to the Second Lady, Karen Pence, the Vice President, Surgeon General, also received the vaccine this morning. And as you noted, other officials are coming forward saying they expect to receive the vaccine in coming days. Jimmy Carter's foundation said that the former president will receive the vaccine when it's available to him, making that all former living presidents saying that they will indeed take the vaccine. At the same time, you have President Trump, who has not said when he will take this vaccine. His White House saying that he will do so when his doctor says it could be done at the appropriate time. At the same time, the president is sending these mixed messages, retweeting someone who's questioning the veracity of wearing masks, of having a mask mandate. And this all comes against the backdrop, Hallie, of additional infections infections within the president's administration and people close to the administration. You had the Interior Secretary testing positive for coronavirus. Now the wife of Health and Human Services Secretary Azar testing positive. Now Secretary Azar has tested negative so far and said he will be tested every day to ensure.
All right, guys. So we'll run through the other stocks that we were looking at today. I do like Wish a lot. I still think Wish is very, very cheap. So I am gonna Wish is gonna be a new one on the watch list. So keep on watching.
Vigilant in wearing masks, social distancing, and just taking all of those precautions that government officials and local officials recommend that people take because cases continue to rise. Hallie.
Carol Lee at the White House. Tom, I'm going to go to you now because it could really be any minute now that the FDA officially greenlighted.
You see, look, man, that is the level of resistance that it's having a hard time breaking. And look, this right here, dude. Look at that. You see, it's so important to learn levels of support and resistance. I'm telling you, man. Although I do think it's going to go higher today, so it's definitely one to watch. So let's jump right in. So let's take a look at first. Take a look at JMIA. See what JMIA is doing. JMIA sold off extremely hard. I kind of knew it would because it did reach its all-time highs. So
emergency use authorization. The agency has also notified the CDC and Operation Warp Speed so they can execute their plan.
So it's definitely going to cool off. I do see this going back down to maybe well, it already went to 37. I think this is maybe it'll come back down here. I think today it'll end up just going to maybe this level here.
As well next week.
I like the fact that it's doing that because I still do believe that this stock is a hot stock.
And then another 2 million. You know, you're talking about 10 to 11 million doses that by the end of next week should.
So we would have gotten an opportunity here in the second candle. If we were following a strategy, we wouldn't have gotten in. But me, probably, I would have got in, knowing that all my lines are underneath, knowing that it's underneath the 200 moving average as well. So I probably would have got in midway this candle. So if I would have done that and put in a 55 cents trigger, being it's at 39.32, would it have been beneficial for me, seeing at the top right there?
In other words, by 30 to 40%. When we try to drill down and find out exactly what's happening there, we get conflicting statements. But earlier,
so as you see, it would have, which is the reason why I like playing these plays. So this is exactly when it's 52 cents up. So we'll do with the 50 cents, not the 55, because we would have got in halfway. So 39.31, and then this one reached 39.86, or 39.85. So it did pop over 50 cents on what I think I would have got in. So it would have been nice for that pop, which is why. And then we have another pop right here. So if we use our strategy, it did tell us to get in right here in this candle. So at 39.03 to the tips of these, 39.39. So like a 35 cents pop. So we know that the beginnings have these nice pops, right? So yeah, so I probably would have got in here if we were waiting for the strategy. You probably would have got in here in this candle, and it would have been a 30 cents pop. Depending on how many shares you have, So we're looking at 50 cents or more. I did cut mine at a 35 cents pop, because it was already at resistance. So it's like JMIA selling off for the weekend, which is very nice. We see the markets are starting to sell off pretty hard. Take a look at the SPY real quick before I head out, and then we'll talk about the rest of the stocks we're looking at. So, see the SPY today is selling off pretty hard. That's not good, because then most stocks start to sell off pretty hard, It's just the way it is. Okay, and then we'll take a look at DKNG, which is what on the back burner we were looking at. What is DKNG doing? So I did figure that it would go to 56, being that new level of, because like I mentioned earlier, there's no clear resistance after that. The clear resistance goes back 5 months, and that's pretty high. It's like 57, 58. and it's definitely can do that. So DKNG did open up at a decent level. So being that 54.78 was the resistance after it reached its high over here in this part of this time of the market yesterday, seeing that it bounced off that level there. So we could have used that as support, knowing that DraftKings is gonna keep going higher. So and DraftKings is not a stock that I'm afraid, so okay, well fuck, this is too high. No, it's on an uptrend, and you know, it's trying to reclaim old highs and make new ones. It's a brand new IPO. It opened up this year, and it keeps going higher and higher. This opened at $17, went to a high of $65, $68, and you know, so it dropped dramatically back to 35 because it did a secondary offering. But after all that washed away, it's going to reclaim back its title and its high. So if we would have got in here, which our strategy clearly says that we can, let me just go ahead and put this here. I need to have this does help, this 50 trend line. Anything above it is on an uptrend, anything below it is a downtrend. I kind of like the ones that are kind of below it, because then it kind of tells me that, you know, we're gonna go back on an uptrend. So anything like this is nice. So our strategy would have said to get in here, so midway of this candle. So if we're looking for a pop, right, to build our capital up, so we're looking for, so we know these are cheaper stocks in the $200-300 stocks that we look at as well. We can buy more shares of these, and we know we can do a quick pop early in the morning, the first 15 minutes, preferably we can catch in the first 15 minutes, because that's when the most volume is. So we want to get a small pop, right? So say what, but you know, we want to get what it can move, half of what it can move. So we know this can move $1, $2, $3 on a good day. But what's the average pop on these things? So if you would have gotten here halfway, well, a little less than halfway. So right there at 55.05, this thing went to a high of 55.96. So you know, this went up 90 something cents. So we're looking for a pop, right? A 50 cents pop. So we would have sold this right here. Boom, right there. So what is that? And then 55.47 is the resistance from yesterday. So after this drop here to the support level, and then our strategy tells us to get in here, we would have got in here. We could have rode that for 55 cents, unless you want, you know, you want to write it out and see what it can do. I like to get my money in right there. I know what these things can move on a pop. So, you know, if it moves $1 off a pop, then I'm going to cut it in half, because sometimes it'll struggle to get to that dollar. So I'll do like a 55, 60, maybe 75 cents. You know, if it's an average $1.50, $2 pop on average, then, you know, I'll cut that down just a little bit to secure the gains, so I can, you know, start building my capital up. So, and then, but it is a little high, so I kind of figured that it would maybe sell off. And so it did have a little mini sell off, as we see here. Sold off a little bit here and went back to resistance. And then it had this nice dollar gain right here, man. I mean, almost $2 right there. Insane. Beautiful gain right there. And then we had a sell off as it reached its peak right here at 55.98. So now that's going to be the new level of resistance that we need that to pass. So will it pass that? I think it will. I think DraftKings is still hot stock. I do own this long term in my long term account, so I do believe in it. I think it's good.
Beautifully, and I agree with him. I think that the most important thing, if I'm putting myself in the shoes.
So that's DraftKings. We talked about J-Maya. We talked about Neo. We talked about Wish. Anything else you guys are looking at? Anybody got into something? Maybe they wish they didn't. Wow, J-Maya, what a beautiful move. I knew that was going to happen. $38.
With respect to counting at the
this moved almost $1. back up. So did this. So did this mammoth jammer. Look at this beautiful run from DraftKings. My goodness. And look, we got all our lines coming down, crossing right here. You know, the blue, the pink, and the yellow. That would have been, look, so it catapults at that point. Look, so at 54.81 to 55.47. Beautiful run, man.
Administration's plan here, and essentially they're saved by their incompetence because they can't.
So you know,
they're trying to get. And so that's why you have it.
So every stock has, you know, these candles go based what they normally move, right? So you would look at this and you'd be like, my God, that's got to be like a $5, $10 run. No, this is $1 run, close to $1 run. It's like 80 cents run right here, right? So Zoom, if you see Zoom with a run like that, yeah, that's like $5-10. Like, we'll take a look at Zoom, see if Zoom has anything we can. Okay, so not too clean. Is there a cleaner one from yesterday, maybe?
If we can do this at all, if we can even get that number, I think it's pretty obvious
no.
that this is
so we can use this as an example. So you can see here, right? So say you go into this run from this bottom here, right?
The Census Bureau reports the number to the president.
That's $399.79 all the way to this tip here, $403.70. All right. So remember, so $39.76 all the way to that tip there, $403.77. All right. I mean, it's what, $4 right there, man. And if you keep going higher, it's like $6 right there. That's a see, because these stocks move that. So you know what the stocks move on average. So we know that this moves for a pop. So if you want to get this pop, so you would have get in here because everything says to get in there, right? You would have get in there, right? You would have gotten in at 400, and then you would know this pop here at least to this pop right there, right? 404, $4 pop. So you know we know it's going to move $4. So and it goes even higher than that, you know. So it can move like right now. It's just going up, which is beautiful. I know this is going to go up. We still have time for Zoom. Zoom is still a good play. So you know you gauge what these things move. So you know if we know that Jemiah, for example, can move $1.52, sometimes even $3. But for these mini pops that we want to get, guarantee our gains, and you know those pops can vary from whatever amount of stocks, shares that you can buy. So if you can buy a decent amount, 55 cents pop, man, that's the base hit for you. Probably like a 150, 200, 300 pop. You know, we're just looking for these guaranteed pops of what we know we can do. And for any reason, I'll pull Wish back up. For any reason, you know, so we did sell it right here. Sold it right there at that level. Okay. So why did we sell it here all the way over here? No, or right here. We sold it right here. It was having a hard time, you know, so I know it can move 55 cents, but if I have the opportunity to get my gains, right, and make my money, seeing that, you know, normally it doesn't give you these many opportunities to come back up to this level. You know, normally it's okay. It won't go, boom, back down. It won't go, boom, fuck it, we're gonna go down because we can't break that barrier right there. So it gave me another opportunity. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to take it. So I waited a little bit, focusing on the level 2 to see what it was going to do. And right when I sold it is when all on the ask side,
we're excited to work with Citi so we can realize our dreams of expanding our reach.
On the ask, on the ask, there's a lot of high numbers coming. So I saw that after I had sold it, knowing it was going to catapult after seeing that, because it was a flood of high numbers, 20s, 30s, 50s, 100s, and the level 2 that were, that was going to pop. I didn't notice that. So I just gauged level 2 to give me just a little bit more of a gain. I mean, we did okay. We did $8. It's not bad. I mean, we're building up our account. So, so far we're like at like $80, $90 for the month. You know, and we still have a little bit ways to go. So we're gonna see if we can keep these numbers up in double digits as far as our gains. So yesterday and today. So yesterday was 10, today was 8. Day before was like what, 13, 12, I think. So we'll keep doing that, and then making sure these small pops, you know, guaranteed small pops. So we're pretty much green for the month, except for that 38 cents loss. I'm not really counting that. So we're good for the month. We'll see if we can finish the month strong. We're gonna keep playing these plays. You know, Wish is now on the list of day trade stocks to trade. So I'm gonna keep playing these lower price stocks that are good stocks. You know, Wish is an IPO, so I'll be very careful with that one. I'm gauging that one every day. I'm gonna monitor, see what, you know, because the average could drop. You know, the average could drop. The average could get higher. I don't know. We'll see. Jmaya, Neo, DraftKings. So the Fantastic Four is what we're going to keep looking at daily. I will keep looking at other stocks, because if I do see, I look at it every day in my watch list, you know, opportunities of stocks that we can hold over, you know, over a decent period of time to make some money off of, you know. And I will add those as we go. Alright, so I'm going to cut it off. We are done for the day. The markets are still red, and looks like they're, at least the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is climbing back up. So we'll see what happens, man. Alright, guys. Have a great morning. Have a great weekend. I will let you guys know my picks on Sunday for Monday. And all right, have a great, fantastic morning and a great weekend, guys. I'm glad to see a lot of you guys made money. Those of you that are holding, you know what to do. Okay. Fridays are not good to hold, but you know, depending on what stock you have, maybe where you got it at, where it can possibly go, stuff like that. So, all right, guys, have a great morning.
It's going to be the second biggest federal stimulus package ever in our country's history. And as Playbook points out this morning, nobody's seen it. Nobody's